All right, well, hello friends. We're back here in Destin, Florida, the world's luckiest fishing village as it's known around this area. And we're gonna take you around and show you what awesome fishing opportunities there are to do here. It's very well known for that. So why don't you come along with us? Destin, Florida is well known all around the world and the United States for its fishing. And we're going to start out here at the harbor where all of the fishing fleet is located. The Destin Harbor is the place to go if you're looking to take a charter out and do some deep sea fishing. There's all kinds of different fish that can be caught in the area, from red snapper to sailfish to sharks. You can even catch pompano offshore, Spanish and king mackerel, mahi-mahi. There's just so many different types of fish to be had around here. Many of them are absolutely delicious. And the nice thing about taking a charter is, yes, you do pay one fee, but pretty much the company you go out with handles all of the details. As you can see here on this sign, gives you just an idea of one of the local charter businesses and the cost that they ask for when taking the boats out. Of course, it's just nice just to be out in the harbor amongst all the fishing fleet. Beautiful boats coming in and out. In fact, you can even go out and fish on the jetties just across the way from the harbor as well, which a lot of people take advantage of. All right, well, that's going to do it for us here at the Destin Harbor. Let's head on down to Okaloosa Island and check out one of the other fishing opportunities here, the Okaloosa Island Pier. Now, as we leave Destin and head over the pass, you can see Crab Island here to the right. Also, once we get over onto Okaloosa Island, you'll see a little parking area here on the left-hand side, Princess Beach. That's an excellent place to go surf fishing. We'll come back to that in a little bit. But when you get onto Okaloosa Island, you'll turn into where the Golfarium is. And straight ahead of you is Angler's Bar and Grill, and the Okaloosa Island Pier is directly behind that. Well, as you enter the pier area, they've got a nice little place where they give you an idea of what type of fish species can be caught in this area, the regulations on how to measure them. They have a small little gift shop there that does sell some fishing supplies. It doesn't have a whole lot, but it does have some things that would be good to use out on the pier. And as you can see by all of these photos, the pier is a very popular place for locals and visitors to go fishing. Now today, as of shooting of this video, we have a tropical storm out in the Gulf of Mexico. So as you can see, the waves are all churned up and definitely not a good day to do any pier fishing on this day, but there were still people out there trying to have a go at it and just enjoying being out on the Gulf Coast. Now, there are actually all kinds of species of fish that you could catch out on the pier. This lady has a ladyfish or skipjack. Somebody had caught a hardtail, good for bait. Got a nice king mackerel on the line here being brought up by a gaff. That's actually a very popular thing to be catching in the early summer season, along with Spanish mackerel as well. If you like high-speed fishing action, the pier is probably for you. It's pretty competitive with everybody trying to jockey for position and get lures out into the water, but it's definitely fun just to be out there and watch the catches. It's also tarpon season along the Gulf Coast at the time of filming, so you see some guys set up here with some swim baits ready to throw out if they happen to see any tarpon swimming by. Okay, we're done checking out the pier. Why don't we head on over to the beach and see what kind of surf fishing opportunities this area has to offer. Now, there are miles of beach along the Gulf Coast, but not all of them are conducive for surf fishing. Here we're on Okaloosa Island, and as we look towards the east, all of this land is owned by Eglin Air Force Base, is in a great spot for doing some surf fishing without having too many people around to get in your way. If you've watched a lot of videos online about surf fishing, it can look a little intimidating. All of the gear looks quite expensive and important to use, but I've gone out there with something as simple as a 7-foot bass rod and still been able to catch jack crevalle, redfish, bluefish, whiting, pompano. Just about anything that swims in the surf you can catch on smaller rods, although it will be a little bit more difficult to cast farther out. To start, I would just recommend that you get some pompano rigs set up. What you're looking at here are a double drop pompano rig with some beads and floats to hold the bait above water. You could use shrimp, fish bites, fish gum, sand fleas, whatever you're able to get a hold of. The more different bait options, the better. But there are all kinds of fish that you can catch in this area. I also use Tides for Fishing app to make sure that I can see what the currents are going to be, what the waves are going to be. Give me a better chance of having a good day out on the water. Now, most surf fishermen are coming to this area for the Florida pompano. They are absolutely delicious, but they're not the only fish you can catch in this area. Whiting are easily targeted. There's bluefish. There's also Spanish mackerel. You can catch redfish in the surf and black drum. Now, while most people think of the Gulf as the place to fish here when you're in Destin, the Choctawhatchee Bay just north of Destin has some great fishing opportunities too. So let's head on over there. Now, the Choctawhatchee Bay is a brackish water system that's fed by local rivers and the Gulf of Mexico to the south, and it is actually a great place to go fish for flounder, redfish, and speckled trout. Here is one of the parks in the heart of Destin where you can also walk out onto a little fishing pier and be able to fish in the Choctawhatchee Bay as well. Now, one of the best places to fish in the bay is either along the grass flats or along bridge piling. So I like to use Google Earth. I usually start out looking at areas along the shoreline where we have some shallow water that drops off into deeper water. Many of your redfish and trout like to stage up here during the summertime, especially when the water gets hot. It's just a great way to be able to find good fishing spots in the area. And sometimes it's important not to forget that Destin is in Florida, and Florida is very well known for its bass fishing. There are actually quite a few ponds just like this all around the Destin, Florida area that you can fish in, especially at the Sandestin Resort. Now, once again, I like to use Google Earth to locate ponds to be able to fish in the area. Now, not every pond is fishable. Some are on private property. Some golf courses do not let you fish there. Sandestin Resort is one of the places that lets you fish on the resort. It is catch and release, and there are some very big bass in those ponds. Now, I grew up in South Florida and fished the ponds and canal systems all throughout southern Florida and used to catching large bass. And I'm actually quite surprised. Some of the fish that you can catch here on the resort are pretty good. Normally when I go out, I'm usually able to get 5 or 6 or 7 fish, and very rarely is the smallest one any less than 2 to 2.5 pounds. Here's some pictures of some of the large bass that I've caught out there at the resort, just to show you that there are quite a few fish available if you want to get out there and give some bass fishing a try while you're in Destin. All right, well, that's going to do it for us for our tour around Destin, showing you all the awesome places to fish around here. Hopefully it inspired you to get out and do some fishing when you're here on your vacation. But just wanted to show you around, show you all the great opportunities that are available. I love fishing in this area, and I know you will too. So thanks for coming along with us, and thank you for watching the Butler Family Adventures.